Is this working? I can't say if it's working. The thing's not playing. Why? There we go. Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to FTRL. We are back here with some more GT action for you, coming from this week, Sardegna B. Shush, Mike. Nobody asked you. Sardegna B for week 2 of season 19, I believe. I didn't know if we actually confirmed it was season 19 or not, but season 19 of GT action here, and we are at the Sardegna B circuit in Croatia, Italy circuit, isn't it? I think.
I think so. I think
so. Do that. Anyway, joining me on comms tonight is Mr. FTRL Panda. You've heard in the background there. Good evening, Will.
Good evening, Lee.
How are we?
Yeah, I mean, this is my first ever GT commentary.
I can't believe this is your first ever GT commentary. It's mad. Like, you've done so much
F1s. Yeah, but this will be a new journey.
A new journey. Well, I hope you enjoy the ride, and we'll guide you through week 2 then. So, first and foremost, then, let's have a rundown of this week's grid then for Sardegna. Of course, we'll go through the car choices as well. And there was an air of familiarity at the front of the grid. Of course, it is the multi-time FTRL GT champion, Mr. T. Smith. This week, he is in the Genesis X G70 then. So, I haven't tried this car yet, but you're in this car as well this week. How was this car?
Very, very fast. Like, it turned in incredibly well. But unfortunately, it didn't have a brilliant traction, so it did a lot of twitching.
A little bit snappy, wasn't it, at the rear?
Indeed.
I think I saw a lot of that in this race, actually, which we'll go through into. But T. Smith managed to wrestle it round. Fastest of all, he popped it on pole position, of course, recovering after a mixed week last week. Tommy, week 1, of course, he had a spin in race 1 last week at Maggiore in the Alfa Romeo, but won race 2 quite comprehensively. He's looking to bounce back this week. And the man who came into week 2 leading the championship is our Grand Master, of course, Mr. FTRL Aaron GT, also in that Genesis G70. Third, then, excellent qualifying from Mr. Captain Chubbs, and in the Hyundai Genesis. So not to be confused with the Genesis G70. We might get mixed up calling those two both Genesis over the course of the night. But a great effort from Chubbs there. He is starting to display regular front-running pace then. Excellent qualifying for him. Will he convert that into some good race 1 pace? Fourth on the grid then is Mr. Pagani then in the M6 BMW then. So the first BMW we've seen this season. Also known as the long boy, the M6 then, big car. But Pagani wrestled it around for P4 on the grid. P5 then is the returning Rollo's Supreme Leader, a.k.a. T. Smith 96, a.k.a. Ross. Back for having missed week 1. He is also in the Hyundai, in the beige number 1 car, because he is the team leader. T. Smith, of course, is the number 2 driver. That's why they have 1 and 2 on their cars. Then Sean then in P6, then SPY in the Subaru BRZ. I think it was a very good effort around this circuit in that car to get P6 anyway, but then you have to factor in that Sean was using his VR headset for the first time this week. So not only was in a car that's slowest in the straight line around quite a power circuit, he was also using VR for the very first time. So I think that's absolutely supreme effort from Sean. I don't know if you've watched his video yet of this week's races.
I was going to earlier.
I was having a look. It looks crazy. I mean, it looks absolutely fantastic, but it's a little bit chaotic because obviously you lose your mirrors. I use the Hoover cam. Obviously got the mirror at the top there, and obviously I can have the radar. I am disgusting. It's weird. I can't not use it on GT now. It's weird. I don't use it on any other game, any other racing game, but on this I just can't use anything else. It's just that. So that's what it is. But yeah, so do check out Sean's channel. It's SBY818 there. You can have a look at his races from his point of view, and it is just like being a racing driver. The head movements, of course, looking around to see what the other cars were. Great effort from him. P6. P7 was Graham in the second of the Bristol Street Motors cars. He also was in the BMW this week. P7 for him. Then it is the man joining me on comms tonight, Will, in his Genesis. And right behind him is me in the Hyundai. P10, the first time we've seen him this week, is a prototype Steph, then back in FTRL this season. He, for whatever reason, decided to use the Suzuki this week. Brave man, because I found that car terrible around this circuit. So we will see how he gets on. P11 is my teammate Kuska. He was in the Corvette this week. Came into it a little bit green. Wasn't sure what car to use. So let's see how he gets on with the Corvette. But the only Corvette on the grid. P12 is Mikey He is in the Subaru, and he's also played his first wild card this week then, so he'll be hoping for 2 strong races. Peatman starts P13 in a very nice Alfa Romeo liveried, or Orlan liveried, Mercedes AMG, so the first Merc. I think we've seen this. There was a couple of Mercs last week, but the only Merc on the grid this week. P14 is Blue Flag in the Alfa Romeo 4C. Starts P14, and P15 was Jonesy in that very tricky Genesis G70. But back to the front of the grid. If you're ready to roll, let's get race 1 underway. And there's your grid. Rolling start, of course. And away we go then. So let's have a look for a bit of turn 1 chaos. Look at how quick there. Chubbs right to the back of Aaron immediately. That Hyundai very quick off the line. Down the inside then. Aaron squeezing him hard to the inside. Chubbs though going full send. Almost goes for the lead. T. Smith though just gets around the outside while Pagani managed to hold off Ross for P4. Further back, Sean's clipped the gravel and hemorrhaging places. Through goes Custer, through goes Steph. I've gone through as well, 2 of you. So places gained on the opening lap. Custer out the inside of Steph, and as they round the left hand, a bit of contact there. Sean then trying to fight back. Around the outside, and you've got Peatman, Mikey, Blue Flag, and Jonesy. As they then drop down to the middle part of the circuit, T. Smith starting to stretch his legs. From Chubbs then up to second. Aaron, Pagani, and Ross making a bit of a break early on then. Graham's now got Will all at the back of him then as Graham just clips the gravel. Will around the outside, doesn't need a second opportunity. And down the inside comes my Genesis. Side by side off the corner of the BMW, they're having the momentum. I think I had to be very careful, but just a snappy rear end on that car, same as the Genesis G70. The Honda was just a little bit snappy.
Yeah,
getting the move done into the final corner. Seemed then to have a massive twitch. Here comes my teammate Kuska. Oh god, I can't. The music's still, isn't it? As we drag them down the start finish, take Graham to the outside. Contact with Kuska. He was already pulled to the outside. Graham trying to go the long way around and gets the move done on me on the brakes into turn 1. Good move from Graham. Steph back into the action. Sean in hot pursuit. There's already been some troubles for Mikey, so time for an instant replay. Let's see what happened. Where did it all go wrong for him? There we go, off in the gravel on the outside there at the top of the hill. None of your indiscretions are going to be secret this season, anybody, I'm afraid. So Mikey, they're having a bit of a drama on lap 1. Now he did, of course, now gravel on his and grass on his tyres, then come around the final couple of corners. A bit more there, and another drama out of the final corner into the wall. Hard goes Mikey. Is he put it the right way though? And he is on his way again. Yes, Mikey, you are going to have a lot of replays of yourself, unfortunately. But we'll try and be nice. I've pressed the wrong button there. Right, then back to the front then. T. Smith still leading. Chubbs, Aaron, Pagani, and Ross then making a bit of a gap. Will trying to give chase.
If we pause it quickly, what time are you on so we can get the time right?
I am on, where am I? 2 minutes 12.
Ooh, that was close.
Yes, Chubbs apologising in the chat to Aaron. Aaron got very triggered by Chubbs' move into turn 1. Thought it was very forceful. Could have got him on the back foot a little bit, but we'll see how that goes. Right, we're off and running again then. So 2 packs forming already. We've got the 5 for the lead, with you kind of trying to get onto their coattails, and then Graham leading the second train with myself, Kuska, Sean, Steph, Peatman, Cy, and Jonesy in it. Into the outside.
Like many times this season, we've got 2 packs kind of developing.
We do indeed. Graham here doing a really good job then of holding me up at the moment, or holding me off rather. I'd say he was holding me up. He wasn't going. He was no slouch this week. As a little bit of a group starts to form, there's been some drama further back then as Steph just dropped back a little bit towards Peatman, Cy, and Jones. There's 2 little packs forming from this 8 to 2 foursomes. Up front, easy. Still line astern now. T. Smith, they're just starting to inch away. Chubbs in hot pursuit then. What's going on back here then? All nice and well behaved for the back though. Blue Flag around the outside of Peatman into turn 1. Good move there from Cy. Big twitch on exit there. Went into the gravel goes Kuska. Sai and Peterman all converging together. Sean's waiting up, so I think there's been some contact. Let's go back and have a look there, see what happened. Oh, no. Maybe a punt a little bit further on. Let's have a look. Further forward then. So, got Sean Cusker into the breakage of turn 1. And yeah, I think there's a little bit of a nudge there. I'm not sure.
Hard saying it.
Sean waited up, so I'll have to go back and have a look. I'll go on board with Sean. Let's see if we can see if there was contact here then. On board then. This is Sean's POV from the race as well.
Unfortunately for him.
Onto the brakes.
Yeah, Peterman then goes just a bit hot really around the outside, which ends up causing everyone to group together.
Yep, Steph on the inside, of course Cusker rejoining, and it all gets a little bit feisty in this pack then. Peterman Jonesy now getting involved, blue flag taking advantage, picking up a couple of places. Cusker then on the grass as well, he's had a bit of a shocking couple of corners. Peter and Jonesy now side by side contact there. Jonesy having a massive slide there. Sean waiting up again. I think he's now finally waiting for Cusker. There we go. Yep. So there must have been contact there. It's Jonesy down the inside of Peterman into the bottom hairpin. Big then switch and around goes Jonesy as well. That is for the Genesis. I found that very tricky through that corner, especially.
It was pretty much impossible. It was very, very tricky around that corner.
Very tricky indeed then. So go back up to the leaders. T. Smith pulling away. Nice little gap now over Chubb, who's still got Aaron right on his heel. Pagani, a little bit of a gap back then. And a little bit of a gap back to Ross as for the top 5, kind of evenly spaced. And then it's my co-commentator Will in that little bit of no man's land in between the two groups. So a little bit off the curb there, just touches the gravel. And suddenly, Graham all over the back of you again.
Yeah, I did that about 2 or 3 laps in a row, and that's why we've ended up right back with you and Graham again.
Yep, so just so easy that you need to kind of carry quite a bit of speed through there, but that it does tighten on exit.
It does that.
And the gravel is very
sort of
unforgiving.
clip that curb, and then you just end up going straight instead of round a corner, which is never ideal.
Indeed, so now we've got a little 3-way battle over P6. You at the front, Graham in the sandwich, or the filling in the sandwich, and me making up the other part of the bread just to turn Tom on a little bit there.
Absolutely.
Graham, they're a little bit wide there, Graham, and that's lost him momentum up the hill, so down the inside I come. However, I feel I touched the curve on the inside, big snap then, massive snap then from me, and Graham gets the position back around the outside. That was a problem for me, that corner, just trying to get the power down too early. I think I just took too much curve that time though. I see in race 2 I have a very similar incident.
No, it's a very, very tricky corner in this car. Very, very tricky corner indeed.
So, Jonesy back with Mikey now. More Sean, Cusker, Peterman, and Blue Flag all as a 4 again. Steph now in a bit of no man's land.
Yeah, I think when you've got that last sector there, that Dirty Ed does take quite a big effect on this track for that last sector. So I think a lot of people were finding it quite hard to follow close.
Yeah, it's a big feature. I know a lot of the big streamers do talk about how much the dirty air affects the cars at the game at the moment, and they're asking for that to be reduced a little bit. And I think they just get on with it, frankly. Stop complaining.
Just go faster.
Innit? So then we're on lap 5 of 20, so 1/4 race distance. Back then to the pointy end. Mr. T. Smith continuing to lead the way, untroubled then. Comes off a nice couple of second gap now. Chubb's just clipping the grass there as he turned into the left-hander. That could have gone very wrong.
Yeah, Pagani's coming under a bit of pressure from Ross now.
Yeah, the BMW just dropping away a little bit from the two Genesis, 2 different types of Genesis in front of him. And Ross there just closing in. And while you have regrouped, starting to put a bit of time back into Graham, who's got a nice little gap to me as well, so we're just kind of evenly spaced at the moment. And then Steph in no man's land, a couple of seconds behind us, a couple of seconds in front of sight.
I think Steph's actually doing quite a good job so far in that car, to be honest.
Very much so, very impressed with Steph's effort so far. Peterman now under a threat though from Cusker. Turn 1 braking zone. Nothing doing though, not quite close enough.
Nope.
Corvette I found was a very nice and stable car around here, but I don't know, I found the Honda just a little bit quicker. especially that
Yeah,
final
so-
sector. The Corvette struggled a little bit through the final sector.
It did. I did a lot of practice in the Corvette because I thought I would initially pick it based on previous seasons we've done because of the top end speed and the traction, and it is brilliant through sector 1, but it just loses too much time in the last sector, as you said, to make it not as competitive. And someone's gone off in the background there. I think that's Kuska. Oh dear.
Ooh, into the replay time. All right, what's happened here? On the grass and in the gravel on the other side. Keeps it going straight-ish and then around on the outside. So Kuska having a bit of a shocker in this one. That's what we get for using auto gears. That's what the gods are telling you. The gods are telling you to get off auto gears, Kevin. So Kuska then down to P13. In the background there you can see Jonesy and Mikey coming round.
The battle we're all tuned in for.
The battle we're all tuned in for then. So that's one out of that little pack of 4. But Steph he's holding a gap to sight. So closest battle now is between myself and Graham. Here on lap 6 of 20, and this is going to go on for a while as well, so we'll strap in and watch this for a little bit. Graham doing a really good job, got a good slipstream here, but he was very good off that final couple of corners. So even though I get the slipstream, I wasn't getting enough because that Beano was very quick in a straight line, so it was difficult to make a move into turn 1. See him going a little bit defensive there.
Yeah.
Just touch the gravel, up the inside, bit of side-by-side action. Leaning on him. Still side by side. Nice and respectful. Give him a little bit of room. And he continues to hold me at bay. As the inside then for the right-hander down the hill. Going to try and hang on around the outside, but he gets the move defended. A little bit of a twitch there, though. And we're back on it again. This one is not over yet then. Down the hill we come. It's very tricky to try and overtake into this bottom right-hander as well, isn't it? Because obviously the braking for this is so tricky. You've got to use a wider line there to kind of keep the speed through the corner, but not carry too much that you into the gravel on the outside of the exit of the corner as well.
It is a tricky corner, and unless you want to cause an accident, you're best off just holding it behind there.
Yep. So here we go again then into the final corner. Try and set this one up. Again, Graham there getting a nice exit.
Yeah, he's a consistent driver, as Graham, once he gets in his mood.
Yes, indeed, yeah. Got a podium, of course, at the last race of last season at Dragon Trail. So, no slouch. Driving very well in this one. Continuing to hold me at bay. Behind us, Steph still in a bit of no man's land. Blue flag still with a nice gap, and now Sean and Peatman. Teammates battling over P11 and 12. Kuska now in a bit of lonely 13th. Jonesy's 14th, and Mikey's dropped back again. We'll save him the dignity of not going to see what's happened. And go back instead to the front, where T. Smith continues about his way.
Look at those lap times that T. Smith's done there.
So we've got 18.
They're all in the 17s.
17.6, 17.7, 17.8, 17.4, 17.8, 17.4. Yep, missed the consistent there.
That is crazy.
That is madness. Well, Chubb's behind him a little bit. He's now got his head down now a little bit, put a little bit of gap into Aaron now, so Chubb's now getting clear in P2. Pagani starting to come back at Aaron. Meanwhile, there's been an overtake for P7, which I've missed, so I'm going to have to go back and see what's happened here. Bottom corner, Graham wide, I'm up the inside, Graham touches the gravel, and up the hill. The grunt of the Hyundai gets me through, round the outside, and move done, or is it? So they come out of these long sweeping left-handers that are really hurting the outside right tyre. Because Graham was I was struggling a little bit with getting my line through that final corner, so I didn't feel I was as quick as I could have been. And that
Yeah, mine
Graham
was pretty much random, I'll be honest.
interested. So yeah, Graham in the slipstream. See Graham then. Now, Graham wasn't using all the track there, I noticed. He was kind of staying on the tarmac, whereas I and a lot of the other drivers tend to use that curve on the outside of turn 1 just to sort of open the angle up a little bit. But
Yeah,
he was still very quick in that first sector.
I think I took the Graham line on that one most times, to be honest. I don't know why, but I did.
Well, I think if you saw my opening qualifying lap, it's a good idea because I tried to maximise all of that runoff area and clip the gravel on the outside. So not only have you got all the track and that blue runoff curb, but I still managed to put it in the gravel. So yeah, it's you can't touch the gravel from that line, so it's definitely safer.
Absolutely.
So that is my move done. So my job now is to start trying to close down on you. However, by this stage, you had about, what was it, about 3.5 second gap, wasn't it? I think nearly 4 seconds. So
it was about 3 seconds. I've been fairly consistent up until this point.
yeah, so look at your lap
Unfortunately, I'd
times
sort
here.
of compromised myself a little bit with the earlier laps by just clipping that curve a couple of times. Otherwise, I would have been sort of near Ross, really.
Yeah, you see laps 3 and 4, 19.8, 19.6. But
Yeah.
then laps 5 onwards, it was 18.3, 18.2, 18.5, 18.3, 18.5. So you're back into a nice groove. My lap times, again, 19, 18, 19, and then 18.3, 18.5, 19.8. And then 18.3, 18.1 on that lap. So took about 4 tenths out of you that lap. That's not enough for a 4 second gap. However, only now at half race distance. So still a long way to go in this one then. Up front, T. Smith on his merry way. Boring as ever. God, so boring. Chubbs, however, has just started to slip back towards Aaron a little bit now. So Aaron's either 17.9. Aaron, he went a tenth faster. So just like that, just ebbing and flowing ever so slightly. The top 4 all just sort of fairly evenly spread out. Pagani there with a twitch as he gets on the power up the hill, but nothing to bother him. Ross there doing a personal best in the second sector. Now, through the double left hand, a bit of a twitch there. So we now start to see that twitch the Genesis gave at the top of the hill there. That became a recurring theme for my viewing for the rest of the race. So just seeing you have little moments on the power that corner.
Constant moments on the power. It's a very, very tricky corner with the Genesis, that one.
Yeah, I think it's just slightly off camber, isn't it? So you kind of think, oh, the banking will help me, but obviously you're still turning and trying to get the power down, which these cars don't really like too much. They will try and snap.
Oh yeah. I think I decided by the end just to catch the snap anyway, because it seemed to be quicker than driving so slowly. Didn't do it.
Yeah.
So that's what I went for in the end.
Stefan through turn 1, still having a bit of a lonely race. Blue flag also having a bit of a lonely race. Meanwhile, Peakman has now put some distance into his teammates. So Sean just slipping back. A 23.0 on lap 9 there from Sean. So he's had a drama somewhere. Just getting his head down. How about his way? Jonesy now having a bit of a lonely race. And Mikey there, a 25.3 on lap 7. So some dramas there. But sticking with it. But not the ideal start to his double point week.
I mean, the pace is there. He's done an 18.4.
Yeah,
it's just
these lap times. It was
it's just
scattered in there with 25s and that. It's just it's a little bit counterproductive, isn't it?
Yeah, so the pace is there. Consistency, not so much.
So yeah, front 4, although that battle second to 5th just kind of staggered at the moment there as you kick up some grass out of the final corner. So do I, to be fair there. So running it right to the edge there. So look at our lap times on this lap. You do an 18.2. I do an 18 flat, so a couple of tenths coming out of it. I think this was my charge now. My target was literally you and just trying to bring that gap down to see whether I could get there before the end of the race. They get a half race distance thinking, there's time here. It's a big gap, but let's see what I can do.
Yeah, I was concerned when I put in an 18.2 and you gained 2 tenths. I was worried. So I was thinking I didn't have anything more in that. That was me.
That was you. Well, let's see how that folds out in the next 8.5 laps. And at this stage of the race, unfortunately, everybody's just kind of spread out. So not really a lot happening at this stage. T. Smith still doing his very best, still in a 17. Look at that now. 17.4, his fastest lap with a 17.8, 17.7, another 17.4 and a 17.6 there. So just kept them consistent there. Not bad for a number 2 driver. So kicks up the dirt there out of the final corner.
Everyone's tyre wear is looking reasonably similar as well.
Look at the tyre wear situation. So Tom, who's in the Genesis, is not bad at this stage. We're into the second half of the race now, and those front tyres, the right side tyres are the ones that take the most beating, of course, with it being an anti-clockwise circuit. And they're not looking too bad. Of course, last week we saw the Genesis was quite bad on its tyres, especially its front tyres. Genesis, a little bit better. Sorry, they were the Hyundai Genesis, sorry. A little bit better. But Chubbs' tyres, yeah, Aaron again though. Aaron's not one for really conserving his tyres very well, and I think that's now playing a part into why Pagani is now back on his tail. That and the tyre wear is also slightly better on Pagani's BMW. There's another wobble coming down the hill, but Catches it nicely, just a little twitch as he gets the power on.
Yeah, they're just starting to pull a bit of a gap on Ross now.
Yeah, Aaron has a twitch there as he gets on the power up that hill. Again, the Achilles heel corner of that Genesis there, that uphill right-hander. Well, like I say, Ross just dropping back a little bit. Meanwhile, the gap between me and you just starting to drop down. Last time it was an 18.5 from you and an 18.1 from me, so again, another few tenths. Graham hanging on in the background as well. Pick up any pieces. Should it go wrong?
Let's hope there aren't any pieces.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Sai starting to come under a little bit of pressure from Peatman again at this stage. Peatman's just closing that gap down, so Sai's lonely race is about to be interrupted.
Yeah, so Sai for this one was on the pad. He was at Aaron's. Yeah, so this was a bit of an experience for Silas.
Kicking up some dirt out the final corner, but all good in the hood. On the corner then, Costco now on a lonely 13th. Lonely 14th for Jonesy, and an even lonelier 15th, although maybe not lonely for too much longer. Are we going to see in the background? Not quite. As you can see, Mikey's heading towards the uphill right-hander, and behind him, the race leader is also coming up to the uphill right-hander. Mikey is very shortly under pressure as T. Swift starts sliding the rear there up the hill. And his first lap in the 18s, look at that, an 18.0. Slouch. Oh,
yeah,
sideways again there. I think he's washed. Starting to enjoy himself a little bit at this stage there, just getting that rear end spitting out. Pagani now all over the back of Aaron, and Ross is just rejoining that group again as well, so it's not over. Still got 3 there.
Chubbs has said in the chat that he's tried hard to be consistent. Once he gets that, he's coming for Tom.
Ooh.
So watch out, Tom. Gauntlet has been thrown.
Indeed. So once again, everything just spreading up. Peatman continues to close on blue flag. 19.6 from blue flag on that last lap. 18.9 from Peatman. So Peatman now closing
decent
in.
Lap from Peatman, that one.
So look what they do this time around then. So come to the line. 19.5.00 from blue flag there. A little bit of that, and a 19.2 from Peatman. Another 3 tenths there. So that Mercedes just starting to inch up on the back of the Alfa Romeo. 5 laps to go. Sean doing amicable job. Oh, Pete's put some spoilers in the chat. Don't read it, anybody, if you don't want to know what happens. Kuska, Jonesy, and Beanbag. There is Mikey, and there is T. Smith. Closing in behind him, 18.2. Oh, washed. Can't even get the 70s anymore. Pathetic. In the background, Ross in the gravel at the top of the hill. So P5 then. Drama for Ross. And suddenly, Will and I sense a faint hope of another position. So let's
suddenly there's an opportunity.
Let's go back and have a look what happened. Is it just understeer? Alright, so he's heading up into the bottom corner. All nice and tidy through here. Up the hill. All as you would expect here. Turns in normally. And then I think it's just too much speed. Understeers into the gravel. Manages to avoid spinning there. That probably would have cost him. We probably would have caught him had he spun, but he managed to keep it pointing more or less at a straight line. And he's on his way again then. So Ross there with a little bit of a drama. Now, meanwhile, Peatman continuing to close on Sai. And Sean also not far away. Sean coming in across the Subarus. Probably got the best tyre wear of all the cars because it's quite lightweight. Very good through the corners. Which made it an interesting choice this week, if I'm honest. I was surprised I actually saw any of them this week.
Yeah, so as I was expecting a lot of power ones, the maybe Mercedes. The Genesis surprised me. Oh, we've got a yellow flag. Not sure where it is.
Oh, it's Mikey. Mikey's it's a bid to get out of the way of Thomas driven into the wall. That's the most Mikey thing to have done. Now, what's happened there? Was that a yellow flag? Who were you watching when you saw the yellow flag?
I don't know. I've forgotten now.
It was like 5 seconds ago, Will.
I know. I told you I haven't done this for a while.
So just slipping back towards Will. So now that carrot is dangling ever bigger. A very beige carrot, or a magnolia carrot, dangling tantalisingly in front of Will. Is he going to be able to catch him before the end of the race? Then we've still got 4 laps to go. Let's come out the final corner then. Oh, there are lots of grass from you.
Yeah, so that cost me quite a bit of time, that one.
18.7 from Ross, 19.0 from you, 18.7 from me. So again, just chipping away that advantage. Graham in the background as well, still hanging on.
Further up front,
right.
we've got Aaron and his ever-present Shadow.
I've noticed that Peatman has had his moment, so we may have to go back and see. This could have been where the yellow flags were. What's happened here? There we go. Oh, that's so lucky for Peatman then. As he comes down the hill, he just clips the gravel on the outside.
Oh, yeah. I've done that.
Let's go on board. Let's have a look from the driver's POV. See what he saw. Turns in. And he picks this nicely. Maybe just a bit too early on the power, using that curve on the outside, but a little bit too much. And around it goes. The gravel spits him out. And that, unfortunately, is down to P12 as through goes Sean. And where's Kuska? He's still quite a way back, so he's okay. Yes, up front then, Aaron and Pagani, as seemingly they always are, nose to tail, into turn 1. Help the cat digging her claw into my knee, does not help my commentary, thank you.
It's your ever-present Shadow.
It's my other ever-present Shadow, they're both here actually. I've got Poppy on my lap until he sat about 3 inches away giving evils because she's not sat on my lap. And there is no way for her to sit on me at the minute because I'm sat quite... I basically sat over my blinds because I'm painting my kitchen and that's on the floor under the sofa. So then down the hill, Aaron comes, Pagani in hot pursuit. Ross then a little bit further back now, of course, after his little dramas. Well, you, me, him, and Graham all just sort of spread out a little bit. In fact, Graham was faster than me on that last lap. Let's actually managed to pull back in a 10th. So good, consistent pace for Graham as well. Fairly regularly in the 18s, a couple of 90s in there. That's probably just what edged that gap out. So Graham was very consistent, but just missing a couple of tenths here or there, and that's just I wasn't pulling away from like rapidly at all. It was just a couple of tenths here, a couple of tenths there. Very consistent pace from him then. Now I was hoping at this stage when I saw Mikey come into shot that he was either going to hold you up or I could use a slipstream, but unfortunately he just very kindly gets out of the way.
I was very worried, I'll be honest.
I saw an opportunity, but it never came.
War Size had an interesting run through the last corner there.
Let's go and have a look. What is he doing? Oh yeah, very wide there, massive understeer. Just clips the grass, but it was okay. That could have been a lot worse.
It could have been a hell of a lot worse.
Yep, top 2 spread out is the battle for 3rd, then the final step on the podium then with just 3 laps to go, 2.5 now as we head around down the hill into the middle part of the lap.
I think Mikey has apologised for not taking me out.
Well, just don't do it again, Mikey. Well, next time, you know what to do. Yeah, my charge is kind of stalled at this stage as well, I think. So 18.9 from you, 18.6 from me. So a couple of tenths again, but running out of laps now and also running out of front tyre. That right tyre looking particularly angry. I don't think I ever quite got into slipstream range. I kind of got down to about a second, I think was the closest I got. Maybe 9 tenths a couple of times, but at this stage, not looking like I'm going to be at there. I'm not far away though. So the pressure was on. I think at one stage I started flashing the lights, although you're flashing the lights as well, but I don't think that's going to put me off because I couldn't see them.
I don't do it intentionally, I'll be honest.
That's the one thing I don't miss about pad racing, is just flashing the lights constantly.
I need to just disable it, I'm pretty sure I can.
Steph then still doing a really good job in P9 in that Suzuki. Blue flag holding P10 despite his little off track moment last time around. How's his land this time? Oh, and again, all right over the grass this time. That was a lot worse. Now Sean's on him. Those tyres getting dirtier and dirtier. And now that very loud Subaru, very distinctive engine note or exhaust note.
It is. Of course, this is actually the return of Steph because he was not able to make last week's race.
It was indeed. So welcome back, Steph. Meanwhile, up front, boring as ever. Boring like his car. very beige race from T Smith.
The beige man.
Beige man. Very beige man with a beige bald head. That's Pagani just hanging on, but not really pressuring at the minute. Ross, meanwhile, has kind of got his head down again, just pulled away from us, hasn't he?
He has.
Your customary twitch there at the top of the hill. A couple of flashes of the lights as well. Let's go on board. This is probably the closest I've been. This is stage to you, but again, just not in the slipstream range. I was hoping I maybe kick up some faint dregs of it a little further back, but to no avail. A 19.3 for me that time, a 19.2, so actually pulled away a tenth of that lap. So. And now Sean and Blue Flag are then battle on for P10. Here we go then.
Sean turns his head, starts screaming at Cy in VR as he tries to fall alongside him.
Super running out of legs though. So down the outside, can he get him on the brakes? Around the outside, he's going to try and switch back. No, not quite. Side gets the line nicely. Pulls away. Sean though, trying to look for another way by. Tyre wear looking pretty bad, although the Subaru's rear tyre is significantly better than the Alfa Romeo's. Feel, however, we are going to have to go watch the beige man finish the race. Out of the final corner then, T. Smith picks up his second win of the season. First race here at Sardegna.
A brilliant result for Chubbs.
Indeed, Captain Chubbs, brilliant P2. Aaron holding on for P3. Pagani P4 Ross there holds on for P5, and you are going to hold on for P6 as well, barring any dramas at the final corner, which there are none. We need to go and have a look at this battle for P10. Up the hill we go. Blue Flag still holding the advantage, but Sean is all over him up the inside then as they cut to the top of the hill. Is he alongside now? He is. Blue Flag hanging it around the outside though, but they're still side by side. Oh, on the grass. That's going to put dirt on his tyres. He's got a bit deep into the corner and Sean is through. Now it's a drag race to the line. Blue Flag goes in for the slipstream. Is he going to have enough? No, Sean's going to hang on. Oh, look at that. How close was that? Unfortunately, we haven't got the times there, but yes, Sean just holding off. Blue Flag on the run to the line there. Peteman comes home P12. Kuska P13. Josie's P14. And Mikey, having been lapped, has already finished P15. He got lapped by everybody up to Kuska there, so not a race to forget there for Mikey, unfortunately, in his double point week. But it was victory for Mr. T. Smith. Captain Chubbs, brilliant P2, and Aaron hanging on for P3 to hang on to the championship lead. Right then, so race 1 done. Now we go find a race 2. Right, so, alright, replays. Why are you not showing me the blooming, for God's sake. Right, race 2. So, of course, the race 2 is the reverse grid, which means that the Mikey will start this one in P1. We were joking in the chat about Joe Jones, who would be leading the first lap. I completely forgot that Mikey was a lap down. So Mikey, of course, will be leading us off this time. All right.
Right, well, I'm loaded up and ready to go.
As am I then. Right, so we'll do a quick run down the grid. Get all the details up as well. So, Mikey starts on P1. Oh, the rolling start. Jonesy P2 there in the Genesis. Kuska is third in the Corvette. Peteman fourth in that Mercedes. Blue Flag is P5 in the Alfa Romeo. P6 is Sean in the Subaru. Steph Spot starts P7 in the Suzuki. Graham is P8 in that BMW, which means that once again I've got to get past him. I was having PTSD about this already, having not even started the race. I'm starting P9 once again. In the Hyundai. P10 is my co-commentator Will in his Genesis. P11 is Ross in the Hyundai. P12 is Pagani in the BMW. Aaron's P13 in his Genesis. Chubb starts 14th in his Hyundai, and T. Smith bringing up the rear where he belongs. P15 in his Genesis then. So, race 2 on the way. Let's go. Now, there's lots to happen at turn 1 this time, I believe. So,
reverse grid. I reckon
Reverse
so.
grid, always going to throw up a little bit of chaos. So let's have a look at what happens then. Now, where does the action happen? I can't remember what happened. I think Sean's involved in some of this. So I'm going to look at Sean, because I have a feeling that Sean gets involved in some of this. Kuska down the inside. Oh, no. Sorry, Josie around the outside. Yep. Oh, Sean levers Steph into the gravel. Cars split either side of him. Through I go, through you go. Ross trying to get through. Pagani's buying into this as well. Sean with a huge send to the corner there. Actually, replay of that, please. Let's have a look at that again there. So, not only does he leave a Steph off into the gravel at turn 1. Let's go on board and have a look at it from Sean's POV then. Blue flag on the outside. And it's a monumental send in there. Josie gets levered out wide. Sean has a massive snap there. I think Josie was not very happy about that one. Fights back up the inside. Graham now side by side with blue flag. Oh, blue flag to the back and around he goes. I remember that one. Oh, heart flashed. Heart in mouth moment there. As the Afro spins in front of the pack.
I don't know how they've avoided him, but there we go.
And in the braking zone then, Graham a little bit deep, punts Jonesy to the gravel. Through I go, through you go. Or do you up the inside? And well around the outside of Graham into the gravel there. Who was that at the top of the hill? It was Steph, I think. And here comes Graham back up the inside of you. Side by side into the final corner. Graham back out of it. No, you're going to try and go side by side. You're hanging on around the outside though. Pagani now buying into this as well. And you've got the two Magnolia cars as Sean starts to snake down the start-finish straight. And the 3 wide then toward Pagani, drops back in behind Graham. Meanwhile, it's Ross up the inside.
This was a concerning moment for me.
Ross there up the inside of Graham, who get touched with Pagani, and Graham gets fired at the barrier, and into Aaron hits the back of him. Well, what happened there then? Penalty then for Chubbs. Let's have a look at what happened there. So, it's Graham and Pagani in this little pack here. So Graham's leaning on Ross. Up the inside then comes Pagani. And Tom up the inside as well. And Pagani leans on Graham, who's trying to turn in. Gets spat off into the wall. And unfortunately carries on though. But drops down the order. Aaron gets hit as well. But I think he managed to just about get away with it. Pagani then having to wait up.
Not cost Graham too much time. That he sort of bounced straight back off the wall again.
Yeah, a lucky place to do it. Graham Pagani slows to let him through then. Has a massive twitch, of course, over the top of the hill. So good driving there from Pagani. Respectful. Meanwhile, it's me and you all over the back of Sean. He's taking some very interesting Simon-esque lines into the bottom corner there. And I think this is where I have my moment. Is it this lap? It is indeed. Massive slide. That was me getting on the power too soon. Through you go. Through goes Ross. Through goes Tom.
Yeah, you had a slide and then decided to continue having a slide.
Yes, I did. Let's go have a look at that from on board, shall we? That's the end of it. Right, up the hill we go. Right, so all fine here. We're all fine here. I think I'm in the wrong gear. No, I'm in third. Yeah, it just decides to spit me off the curb. Too much right foot. And through go Ross, you, and Tom. And that's me all the way down from P5 all the way down to P8. Chubbs then wide out the final corner. This serves his penalty. And through goes Graham. Through goes Aaron. Meanwhile, Tom and Ross slipstreaming up the inside of you. It's 3 wide then into turn 1. And then I remember that I had an absolute heart attack because I think you pulled up early to let them through, and I was coming up behind you. Then you have a big twitch on the exit, but I nearly rammed into the back of you, really like full pelt.
Yeah, I think I've just got my braking point a bit wrong there.
Let's have a look on board. Go back. So, let's go on board with me because here we come. Here we go. On the brake early. Oh, dive out there. It's good reaction from me. That to do. That could have been very messy, but yep, position back for me. Yeah, then having your twitch. Aaron's there, and Graham, Pagani, Chubbs, blue flag, Steph. Jonesy then, unfortunately, having a lonely race after John was winning a lot front. We've not really paid attention to the front yet. It's Kuska now at the pointy end, starting to pull away.
He's managed to keep himself clear of any incidents, and he's doing well.
Indeed, so he now leads. Mikey, though, in pursuit, so having a good second race so far.
Yeah, Mikey's put a decent lap in there over 19.6, and it's keeping tabs on Kluska.
Peterman now starting to close in as well. 19.0 from him as he starts closing. Sean now fourth, and Tom has already made his way up on lap 3 from 15th to 5th. So that is the chaos of
off in the background there. There's blue flag. It gets just a bit too hot into that sharp uphill right.
So he's coming there, okay. Oh, yeah, just too early on the power. Oh, that car saves it well though. To be fair, he didn't spin all the way around. Just has a moment to the left, a moment to the right, and then he's on his way again. That's unfortunately dropped him out of this pack now. What's happened to you? Why are you in P12?
I can't remember.
What has Will been doing? Oh, there we go. Right, so here we are. You're in P8 behind me. I've got Aaron behind you. And then I think you touch the gravel. There you go. Oh, you saved. Well, Aaron saves you twice.
He does.
In fact, Pagani, Graham, and Chubbs have to take avoiding action as they come down the hill. Oh, Pagani. That was Pagani and Chubbs there. Chubbs in the wall. What happened there? See if I can have a look at that one then.
So everyone's trying to avoid me.
Avoid you. Chubbs then gets a run. Oh, is it gone? It's Graham. I think Chubbs trying to go around Graham, who I think was slowed because of you. And I think he just overcorrects to say, yeah. I think that was just Chubbs' own doing that. Just a bit of avoiding action. As the car snapped on him, puts himself into the wall, but no harm done. He's still in the pack. Still in the back of the two BMWs.
A reverse grid race always throws up these interesting moments.
Does indeed then. So now we've got a bit of settle down for a moment. What do you want, Cat? Kuska leads, then get himself a gap of about a second, maybe not quite a second at this stage from Mikey, but Peatman now closing in. Sean.
Then got Sean probably screaming to himself in his front row in fourth place.
Make himself dizzy. And then Tom, Ross, myself, and a little bit of a gap back to Aaron. Pagani now back up to 9th. Graham got Chubbs in hot pursuit of him. And the recovering Will. Steph on the back as well. That Suzuki looking a little bit twitchy. But again, doing a good job. That was one whole race with no spins, which is more than I managed in terms of like laps. Without spinning it, I think so. Great job, Steph. Great job. Taking the pain early. Taking the pain early. Tom now closing in. Yeah, front three closing up a little bit, and Tom now all over the back of Sean.
Yeah.
To the inside, but that Subaru's so good off the corners. So, but of course, Tom has a superior straight line speed on the Genesis, so just has to wait for the big straight coming up. Gets his line at the final corner. Sean clips the curve on the inside there as well. Spits him out a little bit wide, and that's going to make this a fairly routine overtake down the straight. Ross trying to get involved as well. I think Sean wants to drop into the slipstream to give himself a chance of holding off Ross. Tom, meanwhile, trying to give his slipstream to Ross, but Tom just bounced off the curve a little bit. That gives Sean a chance to give a run back. Ross is there now as well. Not a million miles away. Aaron's not too far back either. Pagani on the grass on the outside there. Going to give him dirty right-hand side tyres, which will make this next corner a little bit tricky.
Yeah, a little fight there between Tom and Sean has kind of allowed that little mini second pack to catch back up again and Lee, Aaron and Pagani.
Yeah, all back together again. Down the hill now. Ross now starting to look for a way past the Subaru.
I've somehow got past Chubb somewhere. I don't know how I've done that, but it's happened.
Oh, there we go. Sean a little bit hot into the corner there. Ross goes through. I'm going to use the Hyundai power up the hill as well to get round the outside. Clear him at the second time of asking without the drama this time. So Sean down a couple of places then. But not the end of his misdemeanours.
And there's quite a fierce battle going on between Sean and Aaron throughout this next lap, so it'll be worth keeping on board.
Yeah, right, so let's go have a look then. Sean now side by side with Aaron down the straight. That Genesis very quick in a straight line. Meanwhile, I'm having a look at Ross down into turn 1, down the inside. Aaron down the inside of Sean. And I get the move done on Ross. Aaron gets the move done on Sean. Everybody's happy.
That is the textbook way of how to overtake at Sardegna.
That is the overtake at Sardegna. Into turn 1, down the inside.
That's how it's done.
So, That is how it's done then. So
at this point, I was just trying to catch back to the back.
Indeed. So down the hill then, Tom is now all over the back of Peatman. Meanwhile, Kuska just starting to open that gap up a little bit. We've had a spoiler alert from Mikey. No, he's not there.
Mikey's still driving well though, he's done some good laps.
Yes, indeed. In the 18s. Let's come through then. Tom all over the back of Peatman. Ross all over the back of me. Aaron there as well. Sean now has got Pagani for company. I think I actually got a decent run out of the final corner that time, because I think I managed to actually hold off Ross down the straight. Meanwhile, Tom and Peatman, I think we need to go on board for this, because so what happens here, fakes to the outside, down the inside, into turn 1, but then it's the curb and goes straight off into the gravel.
Yep, there it is.
2 weeks, 2 mistakes, but a slightly unsafe region, then gets the car snapped, and Aaron has to take avoiding action. Through goes Sean.
Oh, and he's clipped Pagani there, trying to straighten the car up as well.
Let's have another look at that then from the outside, what happened in the ensuing battle. So yeah, just goes straight on there. Slightly unsafe for each other. I managed to get around Ross, but Aaron has to take a massive swing out wide. Pagani has nowhere to go, and suddenly, yeah, finds a sideways Tom getting into his front corner. Sean takes advantage and snatches 2 places.
Everyone does fairly well to avoid a complete punt. It's oblivion.
A lot worse. But, yes.
Oh, Beanbag's had a problem.
Oh, yeah. Beanbag's had a problem. There it was, he did say. Let's have a look then. Oh, he's on the grass on the inside. Oh, that's an unusual one.
That's a creative one, that one.
That is a Mikey finding new ways to spin. Oh, and oh my God, how did everybody avoid him there? I don't know.
And they say the best racers find new lines.
Indeed, the best racers will always find a way.
Absolutely.
Having a big twitch then as he heads down the hill.
And then slides around the corner as well.
He's on his way and pointing forwards again. Now, well done, Mike. Great job. Right then, so T. Smith then down to P7 after his little drama. Or rather, more than a little drama, quite a big drama. It's 2 weeks in a row then he's had a mistake. We can probably put the first one down to the car, but that was a weird one. Up the inside of Sean, but Sean using that Subaru's superior grip there around the outside, but then gets on the grass on the exit.
Ooh.
And struggles to make the turn in for the final corner. He's on the grass again, has another big twitch, and that is T. Smith back through, and Pagani pushing him through. Meanwhile,
now being joined by myself and Chubbs.
And Chubbs side by side as well. Pagani around the outside of T. Smith. Still side by side, great battling between these two. Kind of getting the move done then, so good move there from Pagani. Up into P6 then. Now, what was happening up here? Now, I've caught the back of Peatman, I've got Ross on my tail. And Pete's been driving well so far, and it was difficult because that Mercedes is one of the better all-round cars, so actually I'm trying to force the issue. I think I go straight on here. Peatman with the exquisite switchback.
That's a risky move from Lee.
Textbook move from Peatman there. Switched back beautifully. I managed to get it stopped, box Ross in. Hold on to P3 then, but that is done, and Aaron now started to close in. T. Smith looking at Pagani, but not able to find a way through. Ross going for it into the final corner. And a bit of a move, I just put him slightly. Down the straight then. Now the slipstream battle. The Mercedes punching the hole. And into the slipstream of the Merc, going a bit defensive here. Ross going the outside way.
Lee defends the inside.
Yeah. Now can start to focus on Peatman again. Through the twisty bits, trying to get that gap down. Pagani's now caught Aaron, who was in a bit of no man's land, but Pagani has bridged that gap.
There is an almighty train from Peatman all the way down to
Mikey in 11th.
Yeah. Almighty train.
Indeed. Big FTRL train, that one.
Everyone's favourite type of train.
Peatman is the your conductor for this evening. All aboard the Peatman train. Oh, there we go. A little bit of a punt from me there. Sorry about that, Pete. But in the gravel, I then have to wait and then manage to box Ross in again. But this time Ross gets up the inside of me and the inside of Peatman.
Terrible driving from Lee.
And that's brought everybody into this. Suddenly it's chaos. Pagani's at the inside of me. Aaron's there as well. Shot the nose off Pagani then through the left-hander. And on the grass on the outside. T. Smith's got through on Aaron, so Aaron's lost out there. T. Smith then sideways. Now we have a proper train. So it's snaking down the straight. It's too wide again in the background. Here I come on Peatman. Aaron at the inside of T. Smith. Chubbs at the inside of Sean. And what the inside of Pete. Pagani's through as well. But then Pagani levers Peatman into the gravel. And here is the chaos kicks off. T. Smith sideways. Aaron's in the middle of it as well.
Ooh. That's 4 wide.
Sean around the outside. Pagani's now waiting up.
I saved Chubbs from a very large accident.
So all kicking off there. So let's go. Ooh, Pagani having a twitch. So let's have a look what happened in all of that behind. I missed yours and Chubbs' moments. Let's have a look at that.
Yeah,
there's Chubbs. There's Chubbs. So Peatman in the gravel. Oh, 3, 4 wide. Yep. Chubbs having a twitch. There we go. Will saves him.
He owes me all.
Pagani then having to wait up. Shawnee while going full send around the outside. And someone managed to make it back to P5. He's up the outside of T. Smith. Gives the inside then for the right-hander. T. Smith hangs on around the outside. Sean giving him the squeeze though. Aaron buying back into this again. Aaron out inside of Sean. He's put him on the curb. Pete and Will battling as well. Into the braking. Sean going to go for a dive onto the bottom corner. He is. It's a big send.
Almighty send. Everyone's gathered up together now.
Coming, but around the outside goes Aaron. Peatman now on the outside as well. Will's at the inside of Pete. Aaron around the outside of Sean. And just about Sean's going to hang on the inside though, but contact, bit of rubbing.
Oh, a little punt there.
Oh, and another one.
Aaron has to take avoiding action. It's going to give him a terrible run.
And under the grass he goes. And now here comes Peatman. Here comes Will. Here comes Chubbs. It's 4 wide down the straight. Look at this. There we go. Chubbs to the inside. On the grass on the inside. Aaron gets swamped on both sides then. It's 3 wide in the braking zone. That's not going to work out, is it, Chubbs? Will on the outside somehow. Everybody gets around. And Chubbs having had that moment back at the 7th. Pete and Aaron now side by side. Chubbs trying to get up the inside of Peatman as well. He's going to go wide and Peatman's going to try to switch back again. I think Chubbs might be able to hold on to this one. Then he's got the inside for the next corner. So Chubbs up to 6th. Peatman now looks up the inside again. And Sean side by side now. Stop dropping down the hill. Steph's now got into this battle as well. Pagani's. So yeah, now Steph's joined this battle as well now. That's
It wasn't quite long enough, train. So that's a big punt from Beanbag.
Oh, around goes Sean and Pagani's in the gravel.
Oh, that's a huge punt from Mikey.
Steph's been held up as well. So what's happened there? So was it Mikey? I
think it was.
Oh, that's an almighty yeet. And Sean and Steph getting together as well. So Steph's the one that's put Sean off into the gravel. Let's have a look at that one. Where are we? Is Steph? Yep, a little bit hot there. Steph unfortunately just clips the back of Sean. That sends Sean spinning backwards to the ground. Mikey's now stopped in the middle of the circuit on the racing line. With Graham coming around who has to pick his way through. Interesting place to... he's gone full snow runner there and just abandoned his vehicle in the middle of... So that's...
Steph has let Sean through. Very good.
Yep. And everybody's off and running again. And so, after all that chaos, where's everybody at? Kuska now leads, and quite comfortably so, from Ross.
Miles ahead.
He was about 8 seconds ahead at this point. And I'll keep that in mind. We've got 8 laps to go. The gap is about 7-8 seconds at this stage. I'm in 3rd. Tom's back up to 4th. Having managed to miss all that drama going on behind him. Aaron's now 5th. Chubbs is 6th. Peatman 7th with Will up the inside of him. Into the left-hander. Peatman just tries to shut the door. He finds a very big black Genesis there, though. However, Pete's going to come back at him. And has the inside then for the right-hander down the hill. Will they're around the outside. Keeping in there, Peatman. Very respectful there from him. And Will gets the move done. Good move there, mate. Well done.
Yeah, a customary Genesis twitch made that a lot harder than it had to be.
Pagani down in P9 then after being punted by his teammate. Good hit, Mike, from Aaron in the chat. Fantastic battle then. Yep. So Blue Flag, who's been out of it since the opening couple of laps after that spin, has now found himself some people to race. He's got Sean Beanbag, who's having another moment. Oh no, like he's in the wall again. Got the grab on the outside there. Through goes Steph.
It was all going so well for Beanbag.
Was indeed then. So everything's starting to settle down at the front at least then. So running order now. Kuska leads. Still 18.7 from him. Ross with an 18.0 though. That's 7/10 of a second Ross went and took out of Kuska on that lap. That's going to be a bit of a theme between now and the end of the race. So we'll keep an eye on that gap and their lap times. Tom now starting to close back in on me.
I imagine you were very concerned at this point, Lee.
I was not. I would have rather other people, somebody else behind me, definitely. Nothing quite like seeing a beige blob appearing in your mirror, getting bigger and bigger.
It's not what you want to say.
A big gap opened up though between the top four and the rest, and so Aaron now clearing P5 because Chubbs has dropped back a little bit. He's now got you closing in. Pete in the background as well.
Along well.
Yeah, Pete
in
well,
P8. So having a good race.
And Pagani recovering P9. Graham now P10. Sean's got ahead of Steph, and Blue Flag's had a drama somewhere. And unfortunately, Mikey and Jonesy's had a very lonely race after that opening lap. Unfortunately, never really got back into contention. It's a shame for him. I know that car is particularly difficult to hustle quickly. Lap time check then. Cusco 18.8, Ross 17.9. So 9/10 of a second from Ross on that lap. That gap
That's
is
a
starting
satisfying lap.
Look at that, 17.999 as well.
I like that. Well done.
Cusco did an 18.888. Well, that's. I'm a little bit aroused by those two lap times, not going to lie. But then maybe the boring 17.831. What's that? In fact, Tom is through then. So Tom through into third. Let's have a look at where that happened, I believe.
I love that you thought that was your lap.
I was like, oh yeah, it's over my car. It was so his car's so bland I didn't even realise it wasn't mine. Yeah, straightforward move there. Genesis gets the slipstream down the straight. Has the inside. Did squeeze him over as much as I could do. And then thought maybe the switchback could be on. Use the blue curb on the outside, but no. T. Smith gets it stopped nicely.
Yeah.
Through he goes. However, that battle will continue. I'll stay on him for a couple of laps, but
just wishful thinking that, like.
Yeah, a little bit. No, you never know. Stranger things have happened. So that's the closest battle at the minute, is me and Tom at the moment. So it's a Magnolia sandwich now with myself and Kuska being the bread. That's one's for you as well, Tom. A bit of double sandwich action. That's what the second sandwich pun, one for each hand, because that's how Tom likes them.
Dual wield it. That's how he enjoys it.
Dual wielder, absolutely.
Oh, Pagani had a big twitch there. And another one. And another one.
Ooh, got the grass on the outside there. Ooh, wow. That was a big moment.
Yeah.
Well,
and he sort of kept having it, to be fair.
Oh, yep. It's just that accident keeps wanting to happen.
And then through the last corner, another one. That's an eventful sector, that, from Pagani.
There you go. Oh, yeah. Big moment there. A lot of tyre squealing. Great. And then closing in. Sean now 11th. Steph 12th. Blue Flag 13th. Mikey is closing back towards Jonesy then. That's the lap time check for the front lit 2 then. 18.8 again from Kuska. 18.3 from Ross. So half a second out of him. T. Smith giving chase as well. I'm not a million miles away trying to go with him. Aaron now in a lonely P5. Chubbs not too far back. Will making eyes at that P6 again.
Oh, Chubbs makes an error. Oh.
Oh, big slide from Chubbs. Going down the hill, and Will needs to... Oh, he's on the grass again on the outside, into the wall. Oh, Chubbs, what are you doing? Track goes left there, mate. Into the wall.
I was amazed.
Oh, Peteman has to dive out there. The closing speed of Pete there, I think, caught himself out then. He's outbraked himself at the bottom corner. Yes, it stopped though, just. Pagani, a obligatory twitch at the bottom of the hill. Peteman again, the move done on Chubbs for P7. Oh,
Yeah.
Chubb's having another sideways run as well. He's having a scruffy lap now as well. Pagani can see a top 8 finish again, maybe even a top 7 coming back at him very quickly. Lap time check for the leaders, 19.3 from Kuska, a little bit scruffy that time. 18.1 from Ross. 1.2 seconds he had out of him on lap. That gap is coming down rapidly now. The tyre wear is probably the key thing. Look at how bad Kuska's tyres are looking compared to Ross and that Hyundai. Ross being super smooth. That tyre wear is outstanding for 16 laps because it's significantly better than mine, and we're in the same car. So Ross doing a superb job there.
Yeah, he's managed those tyres very, very well.
Chubb's now back ahead of Peatman. Pagani's there as well. Down the hill we go. 3-car battle, and we've got Graham in a bit of a lonely P10. Sean now in a lonely P11. We've got Steph and Blue Flag. Ooh, Blue Flag backing in there to the right-hander. So we're kind of equally spaced, all within sort of touching distance if there's an error. So not under any immediate threat. Being Bag 14th.
Kuska about to cross the line for lap number end of 16.
17 we go. It's a 19.1 for him. Ross, meanwhile, a 17.9. 1.2 seconds again then. So Ross has got the magnets on and they are cranked up to maximum because he is homing in now on that Corvette. That front right tyre looking very, very second hand on the Corvette. Ross is rapidly approaching then. T. Smith now just pulling clear of me in P3. But he's not able to live with Ross. Ross is really, really homing in then on the leader.
Yeah, the problem with that Corvette is it's so weak through that last sector. You have to use so much tyre to get it to turn in that it really does eat it. And we're seeing that now.
Yep, Pagani meanwhile is about to make a move on Pete into the left hand. He goes a little bit wide there. Pete sniffs an opportunity at a switchback. They will hang on to the right hand side of the circuit. That gives him the inside then for the right hander down the hill and back into the top 8 he goes. Before an obligatory twitch at the top of the hill.
Pete had already humiliated one FTRL admin. He did not manage to get the other one.
He did. Oop, got another twitch there. That BMW looking very loose there at the bottom corners. Let's see where he's at the top of the hill.
Yeah, I think he's just
I
trying
want
to
to use
get
the BMW yet, but I shall see.
He's just trying to get the power on a little bit too early at the minute, it's Pagani.
Well, I will admit though, he's got excellent car control. So the amount of times you see him sideways, he doesn't really lose it a lot. He's very sideways. Again, a big power slide through the final corner. So on to the third to last lap. A 19.2 from the race leader, an 18.5 from second place. That's another, 8/10 of a second gone.
Yeah, I think if Ross had put in another 18 flat there, this could have been could be a very interesting lap.
I can see there through sector 1 now. He's less than a tenth down on his best time, and T. Smith's not a million miles away either. So Kuska, who had an 8-second lead at about lap 11, lap 12, that lead now is probably 1.5, 2 seconds max, and 2 and a bit laps to go. Let's have a look at the rest of the field. I think it's all fairly spread out at this point. So yeah, everybody's kind of spread out now. So we'll focus on this battle for the lead.
Sean has confirmed that he was overstimulated in this race, which is... You need to keep that one to yourself, mate.
Sean was like giving an ADHD child sugar.
Yeah. Overstimulated.
Not
a word I thought we'd see in FTRL stream today.
Penultimate lap of the race then. 19.2 from the leader, 18.2 from second place, another second gone, and now Ross is there. And we have got a battle for the lead with 2 laps to go. Significant tyre advantage as well to the car in second place, and can he find an opening? Because he's been cruising at the front.
How much better that turn-in is on the Hyundai at the minute compared to that Corvette.
He's done a good job through there. Kuska looks with a little bit of a wobble. He tries to get the power down, but all looking okay then. Through the right hand as well. Ross's car just looked a little bit tidy there. Ooh, a bit of a twitch there from Kuska. Is he just swooping out there for a better line down the hill? Corvette though is rapid in a straight line there, so using the grunt of that American V8 to pull himself away, but through that bottom right hand you can see there Ross so much more grip, able to turn tighter.
For a car to look nervous. Kuska's does.
And this is where the Corvette struggles. My Hyundai is pretty handy. You see
Had
Ross
to
is
actually dab the
all,
brake there to get that in. Did Kuska.
all over the back and then into the final corner we go then to start the final lap of the race. T. Smith kicking up the dirt in the background, but Ross is there. Kuska defends the inside then. Ross trying to switch back into the slipstream. Does Kuska give him the inside? Oh no, it's close. Just managed to shut the door on him. Ross trying to go the long way around. Kuska just eases him out there. Good driving. Saw what was maybe going to materialise there and just shut the door in Ross's face.
Yeah, good driving from Kuska. He was helped out by the top end grunt of that American car at the end of the straight there.
Ross on the grass there in between the two left-handers. Can he find an opening then? He's half a second down his best time now that he's caught the back of the Corvette, which is okay through the first part of the lap, so Kuska doing a good job. Despite very, very second-hand looking tyres.
Yeah, it's a decent car through the sort of first half of the lap, she said. This is the point where it'll start to struggle.
This is where it switches back. Ross, they're so much more aggressive through that bottom right-hander, trying to get the run up the hill. Kuska is slow. Ross lights up the rears. Oh, it's a big moment. He's on the grass. He's on the wall.
Oh,
it has all gone wrong. And the call over the radio that Fernando is faster than you. And up the inside comes Tom. And Ross then, having been challenging for victory, loses out on P2 to his number 2 driver at the final corner as well. Kuska wins
the line.
Hold on, despite a valiant effort from Ross, he doesn't even get P2 for his troubles. Tom snatches P2 on the final lap. After Ross there, he did exactly what I did earlier on in the race, just got a little bit too excited. There was an opportunity there. I think he knew he had to get a good run and probably get it up the inside into the final corner. And unfortunately, didn't quite come off for him then. P4 for myself.
Yeah, Pete comes home for a very good driver there for P9.
Indeed, so Aaron P5, Will P6 again. Chubbs P7, Pagani P8, Peatman P9, 10th for Graham, 11th for Sean, Steph crosses the line P12, as Simon exits stage right, across the line with the handbrake, and Mikey, what might have been for Mikey, P14, P15 to show for his wildcard week, not ideal, and Jonesy, fair play to him, managed to avoid for being lapped then, with a very, very lonely race. 41-2 on lap 16, I don't know what happened there, but he's had a bit of a stinker there. But I think his head was very much not in it after the opening lap shenanigans.
Well, that was a lot more eventful than race 1, wasn't it?
It was indeed. A lot more going on in that one, and that is the joys of the reverse grid race. Now, Jonesy, in fact, doing his best lap on the final lap of the race. So fair play to Jonesy. Kept his foot in it all the way to the end there. And that then is the end of week 2. Of our season of GT action. Week 3 is coming at you from the Blue Moon B infield, so it is it's almost an oval race, but not quite. But we are using some of the bank section, and then one of the short infield split sections for this week. And so, have you got your car prepped for this week? Well, or are you still a bit up in the air as to what you're going to run?
I have absolutely no idea.
I
don't think I've ever driven that track before, I'll be honest.
Did you do the Group 2 season we did in the Japanese GT?
God, that was a long time ago.
That was a long time ago. Yeah, I can't remember if you did that. I can't remember if you did that season or not.
I think I did the season, but knowing my attendance history, I might not have been there.
That was the only time I can remember doing that circuit in FTRL. So it's been a long, long time between it. So we go back there this coming Friday. And that's the end of this week's highlights. So thank you very much for everybody for tuning in. If you haven't already liked the stream before you go, please do so. That helps us out immensely. And we'll be back next Sunday to bring you coverage of round 3 from Blue Moon Infield B. Then, but from myself and from Mr. Wilhelm, bid you good night, farewell, and we'll see you again.